Get going. Hi, Tom. Good to see you. Okay, well, good evening, everybody. Let's just get to it. I want to share some things with you. Some of you have seen some of this stuff tonight. Um, I hope my connection's okay. I just want to go over again. Is my connection okay? Okay, great. Okay, there we're streaming. Um, just some reminders so that we can be proactive. But one thing that's really special that the company is doing now, which I think would be great, it just means we can take that extra step as well of follow up with our customers. But they are now doing, it's called a subscription auto dialer. So for anyone whose subscription defaulted or did not go out, or like their card wasn't charged for some reason, they will get an automated reminder call from the company that will go out on the third business day after the subscription has run. That's amazing, right? So the feature for some reason is not available yet in Texas, Nebraska, and that's a typo. It's Indiana. But this just is another way for us knowing that they will get that reminder call. Imagine if we are the ones that make that first call to them, right? I know at the end of the month, we have that subscription call, and I know it's on the checklist to always check and see if their subscription went out or not. But this is maybe just a way or a habit that you can create that after each subscription goes out, you could go into your reports and maybe just see there's a literal report that says something about subscriptions that didn't happen, something like that. I'll put it in the comments of this recording. But you can literally check that to see if their subscription did or did not go out. And you could be the first one that reaches out to them and checks in to see, like, was that on purpose? Just want to let you know it didn't go out, see if there's anything I can do to help. Okay, but just know that the company's doing this now as well, if for some reason you forget to do that. So I think that's super cool. And then also, again, they're doing the customer cleanup. So before, and this was tough. And this is, I think, something that's going to happen more and more as we begin to share the story of LifeVantage again. You may find that somebody tells you, oh, I was on Protandem 3 years ago, right? I should get back on that. And then we put them in the system, and then for some reason it defaults to their old account. And you're like, no, I want the credit of a new enrollment, right? For incentive trips and every other incentive that's always out there. So they're doing a customer cleanup. So starting September 1st, the customer cleanup process is going to move from, instead of every 36 months, every 3 years, it'll be every 18 months, which means less headaches, less having to duplicate accounts, everything. So every 18 months, they will be doing that. So again, what I suggest, and I'm going to show you, I talked about this last week, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do this because in my coaching with Bob as well, one of the biggest things that he talks to us about is your warmest market for some of us is the people that are already in your back office, whether it's, okay, well, we're not going to show you. But if you go to your back office and you go to detailed genealogy, right? And you bring up just your customers. And if you don't know how to do this, reach out to me and I'll show you. But detailed genealogy, and then you only search for customers. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see like a box with a down arrow. You can download onto an Excel spreadsheet everyone in your back office. I would do consultants too. And that can become a good warm market, a good pipeline of people for you to reach out to again and at least have their information before they're completely wiped from the system. Okay. All right. And then next, I just wanted to share this with you because I thought I love that the company is doing this. And I really feel like as we go into this new chapter with the new CEO that begins on September or August 5th, um, I love that LifeVantage is all about LifeVantage, right? And just really maintaining the integrity of our company and what we stand for, especially as we have seen people jump ship and they're representing peptides or peptides and this or LifeVantage and this. LifeVantage doesn't want that happening. They don't want anyone going on stage that is going to give a mixed message to you and or your team. So their speaker expectations going forward, except for panels, they want to make sure that that person has longevity with LifeVantage. They want to make sure that they're solely focused on LifeVantage, that they avoid like talking about anything else within their social media, right? Whether it's other businesses, coaching, whatever it might be. They're just really protecting the integrity of the speakers that come forward. So I thought that was just a really good thing that I wanted to share with you. And then looking ahead, this one's further out, but I just want you to get this on your radar and be thinking about it, right? Whether it's putting the funds aside, checking flights already, whatever it is you want to do. But April 22nd through the 24th, we'll have Momentum Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. We have never been there, so I'm excited about that, a new place to visit. And I think this will be super fun. So just have that on your radar. It's still early bird pricing of $129. And then moving forward for Global, that one is coming up here soon, end of October. So they had some room blocks, or they had room blocks, and the first 200 bookings of the hotel room block they had is sold out. So people that did that get a little extra VIP package. But they do still have room blocks at the Hilton, Salt Lake Center, Radisson, and the Salt Lake Marriott. These three hotels are very, very close to the convention center. And I just want to remind you that because of the Olympics that will be happening in Salt Lake in whatever year, I know it's a ways from now, but the city will be in preparation mode for that. So that means this will be the last global we have until the Olympics happen and are gone for a very long time. And for many of us, having it in Salt Lake City is very handy, whether it's for our Idaho group, our Oregon group, even for us. I want you to know that I'm going to be driving just to save on airfare. When we drove from South Dakota to the Elite reunion, that trip went so fast because we were with other people. We had a blast. So if anyone on this team would like to ride along with me, I would love it. I think it'd be so much fun. So you just let me know because I will be driving. And the hotel I got, and I know many of you did as well if you haven't gotten yours yet, is at the Hyatt Place, Salt Lake City downtown. It's called the Gateway. There's a lot of different Hyatts, but this one is also very close. We've stayed there several times, super nice, super clean, and the price was fantastic. I booked mine through hotels.com is where I got my best pricing. So I wanted to give you that update as well. And then I wanted to share with you today on the executive Zoom, we had Michael Beindorf on, and he, of course, has stepped in the interim before Terrence comes in. And I just loved this message he shared today. So I started recording it and I wanted to share it with you guys too.
You guys probably all know this. Son is like, Dad, you got to see this. So we went. And you guys probably all know the story of Odysseus trying desperately to get home from the Trojan.
He's talking about the Odyssey, the movie The Odyssey, and his son told him that he needed to see it.
And the guy was fighting through so much, trying to bring himself and his army back, just get them home, to where they wanted to be. And they went through just one travail after another. And then ultimately they're on the boats and they have to sail past the small islands of, I think it's called Serenum Scopula or something, where the sirens live. And Odysseus put wax in all their ears because he didn't want them to hear the sirens' song. But some of them pulled the wax from their ears and they were lost to the temptation. They jumped overboard, never to be heard from again. I think there are a lot of parallels to some of the things that are happening in our business right now. There are, as Tara said, a lot of distractions out there. And guys, it is easy to think that the grass is green, that some PMF machine or some peptide is the key to you making a boatload of money. You know what? We have so much here at LifeVantage that most of those guys do not have. We have the products, we have the science, we're a publicly held company, everything is transparent, we are rock solid financially, and we have stood the test of time. It all starts with yellow, and I'm telling you, we are focused, we are simplifying, and we are back to the basics, and it's showing up every day in the enrollments and what's happening out there. Most of you guys were, or a lot of you guys were at the executive reunion. You may recall the story I told about the short sellers. There were a lot of guys, a lot of people out there in the marketplace betting heavily against LifeVantage. That was what? Just what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago, something? Those short sellers are gone. They are washed out, and they lost, a lot of those guys lost a lot of money getting out of the LifeVantage short sale position they had taken. You know, we are on our way, and I'm urging you, get on board. Do not, well, thank you, Gary. Do not miss this train. Terrence Moorhead is here Wednesday morning. I'm spending my time getting ready to transition everything to him, make sure he knows everything that's going on. Guys, we have waited a year for this guy. We talked to a boatload. We talked to a shitload of people out there, and I'm telling you, he stood head and shoulders above all of them. So the board of directors was willing to wait, and we have waited a year to get this guy. He's here on Wednesday. You heard what Tara said. She's done her research, same research we did. We believe that we have positioned ourselves extremely well for him when he arrives, and it is, the sky is the limit. So please get on board and let's go see just how high is up. And thank you for the privilege and the opportunity to work with you guys over the last 14 weeks.
So cool, right? So cool. And with that, I just wanted to show you something that I saw Fraser Brooks post today. He posted, "Doing the boring works. However, boredom will lead to creativity. Creativity can lead to burnout. Burnout will lead to long periods of avoiding the basics. And avoiding the basics will pass down to your team. With time, there will be nothing left. In network marketing, you're rewarded for doing the basics better, more often. Don't let creativity distract you." And I thought that was very important. I showed that to Tina too today, is I know, like, as I talk about AI or talk about posting, the last thing I want is for you to get hung up on that. Because, and trust me, through my coaching, the second stage with Bob, my goal is to be coaching as many of you as possible one-on-one to help you not feel pressure and to help you feel at ease when you're posting, because you're freely being yourself instead of trying to be extra creative. People don't respond to creativity, they respond to honesty, and they respond to people they can trust. And no one feels that more than they would if they were in person, or if you send like a personal voice message, right? I mean, doing my 2-a-day today, sending personal voice messages to people, both of them said, one wasn't interested, one said, show me some information. And both of them, though, were like, what a very sweet message. I mean, with one of the invites, actually with both of them, it was because I had seen posts that they had put on Facebook and it reminded me of them. And so I told them that. I'm like, this is what I love about social media, is it's the reminder of someone that you love and adore. And it also just becomes that way for me to be reminded that you may or may not know what I'm doing. So either way, I loved your post. I love how well you're doing. And it also reminded me that I need to make sure you know about what I've been doing. It may or may not be for you, but why would I not share it with you, right? Just this open conversation. And they both just commented and said, what a sweet message. So speaking of the 2-a-day as well, and then I want to get back to this basics. really make sure if you weren't on the One Person Big Difference site, make sure you go to the One Person Big Difference site and look at the updates. The two a day is in the yellow pad. It's the fourth tab. It will allow you to mark off how many invites you did for the day, and then it's two follow-ups, two invites, two follow-ups. And Michelle is putting together a group for the month of August in Telegram, and it's called the Daily Two Crew. I know Kristen and Tom have already joined it. I have joined it. And I will be blatantly honest with you when it comes to these groups. More often than not, I'm like, I don't want another group. I don't want to get 5,000 announcements that somebody's posted in a group. And that is a me problem. Okay. I have had so many wake up calls in this last month. And I need to, I can't have that attitude if I want this opportunity to move my family forward and provide for them in the way that I truly want to. I cannot afford to have that attitude. And this group is created out of abundance. This group is created so that people can truly imagine if you allowed yourself for every day for the month of August to focus hard on three gratitudes, right? And then you truly focused on two a day every day. What could happen? What could happen in the last 5 months of the year if you allowed yourself to do that? Because you and I both know that does not take a lot of time. Sometimes it can be hard to focus on gratitudes, right? When life is coming at you, it can be so hard. But what a good thing for our spirit, our soul, the cells of our body to focus on those gratitudes. And then to do two a day, those voice messages took me less than 5 minutes. It does not take a lot of time. And so many people, I don't know who watches this playback on Team Act, but if you're watching it for some reason and you never show up on the team Zoom, or you're sitting in the corner and you're afraid to show yourself because you're not moving forward, like get out of your head. This is for everybody. We want everybody to be a part of this. And so many people think that in order to put their foot back in and do the business, it's going to take 5 hours a day. You guys, it could take 15 minutes a day and you could be filled up with the fact that you moved the dial. You did two a day and you're building community in a group of the people that were in the group last month for the cash. I showed up on one of the Zooms and I could barely speak because I was in tears because you could just feel the connectiveness of the people that were showing up. It's very special. And it's all different kinds of people. Like Issa got on that morning I was on, and she's like, in all honesty, you guys, she's like, I know my business is moving forward. I know a lot of things are happening for me. I know you see me being celebrated, but today's a hard day. And she's like, I just needed to show up. Like you feel honesty and transparency. So what if that is only for you to ask yourself, what if you allowed yourself to do that and you started with August and you went all in for that? Okay. And then I want you to know Sean talked about the comp plan tonight. Go there and look it over. Everything he added in here is so layman. It's so great. He broke down the comp plan. And I just want to say real quickly in here when he made these cards and it says copy this card, I did that and I put it in a text. I wanted to see what it looked like. And it won't look all pretty like this, but it does totally copy all the words here. So if you had someone new, let's say, that's looking at the business and they want to know how you get paid, you could literally click copy card and then put it into a text message and it's there. There's no reason to put this in boards, but here's what I will say. I've reminded you of this a couple times. If you, on my phone, on the very front, on the bottom, you can see I have F and O. So you can bring up the site on your phone and you'll have to Google how to do it for your phone. It's not the same on everybody's phone. But if you bring up the website typically at the bottom somewhere, there will be an option to save the link, to save the site to your home screen. So the front page of my home screen, I have the free range light, that's the F, that's the video to send somebody. And then the other one, the O, is the yellow pad. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's the one person to big difference site. I could change that, but I put under it the yellow pad. So the yellow pad is everything you see here, right? It's all these options for me to, of course, put my new prospects in, do check off my 2 a day every day, and then everything else that's on here. So I like having those on my home screen, and I would highly suggest that for you as well. So I wanted to make sure you knew that. And then I wanted to tell you today, Tara talked about Terrence Moorhead, who's coming in. And the reason the consistency right now and the doing 2 a day every day and remembering why you said yes and remembering that more people than not don't know about this and we need to make sure we tell them is because he has this record. His history was joining a company that for 3 decades was stagnant. I verified this information. They were stagnant. They weren't necessarily declining, but they were steady. Sound familiar? It's not 3 decades for us, but he came in and changed all of that, and they started moving up. Something by like 45% revenue, and then like 190% was another, it was this acronym of something that I don't know what it means, but it had to do with financials. So even if you're not seeing it real time in your business, I I know that the fruits of your labor will come back to you. Just stay steady with the progress, okay? And also that being said, I wanted to say too, I just kind of did some research on like how the boring basics can really win when we move forward. So as we go into this new month of August, you guys, I know some people maybe in July, some people may have had a good month, some people may have had a bad month, some people may have had like an incredible month. Like I know that some people did, those Carl Cash winners. But what that tells me is that nothing has changed. The opportunity that we have, the products we have has not changed. It's as good as it's ever been, right? We just need to tell more people. So we don't need to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the economy is doing, although maybe I have or have not done that, or what the algorithm is doing, or what everyone else is doing and focused on, right? It's really just asking ourselves, am I doing the boring basics consistently? Am I doing them enough? Because if I have learned anything, it's people that build lasting businesses, they're not always the most talented. They're not they're not always the loudest people either, but they're not the ones with the biggest following. You don't have to have the biggest following, but they're just the people that are willing to do the simple things. They become, what do they call it? The crazy parrot, just repeating themselves over and over and over again, even when nothing is happening. They're inviting, reaching out, following up. Inviting, reaching out, following up, serving, learning, repeat. That's what they're doing. And most importantly, like they're showing up even when it sucks. Dean has every excuse in the world to not be here tonight, but he's here, right? Because we're a community, we love him, and this might be just the shiny bright light in the midst of his heavy day. You have to show up even when it's hard if you want this to truly change your life. So when we look at this new month, like, I don't want this to be about you chasing motivation or chasing having the biggest numbers or tipping the scale a huge way, right? Or having the best post or anything. I really just encourage you, just chase consistency and chase doing the thing that makes you uncomfortable, being consistent, and making yourself proud. And I encourage you to be a part of that group. You don't have to have your notifications on. But even if it just meant you were part of that group and every day you chose to put in your three gratitudes and your win for the day, do it. It's good for all of us, right? I mean, maybe just it's like asking yourself, what's the one boring activity that I know I need to do every day that I avoid the most? And I guarantee for most of us, it's going to come back to inviting. We're just not inviting enough. And your invite does not have to be hard. It just needs to be from love. If you're overthinking a script, you're doing it wrong, right? If you're overthinking a script, you're doing it wrong. If you're nervous, tell them you're nervous. That's what I loved about the church we were at in Idaho. He was like, at Stonehill, we're all messy. No one's perfect. And messy is authentic and real, and it brings people in. Be messy with your invite and share it in the group. I had two invites today. They were super messy, but I started some great conversations, right? I'm pretty grateful for that. Okay. I'm going to make sure I got everything that I wanted to talk to you about. Um, and I did. Okay, perfect. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up about anything I covered? Yes, Dean.
I just wanted to share if anybody hasn't used the new, the tools that Sean put together, I strongly encourage you to use them. I had a situation where I was getting exhaust put on my old pickup, and the guy asked me what my license plate meant because it says activated. And I told him just briefly what it was. He said, "My wife needs to hear about this." I went to breakfast, come back. His wife was waiting for me. And the old me would have just started blurting out all kinds of facts and figures and stories about LifeVantage. And I said, "Well, how much time do you have?" And she says, "Well, I'm going to meet some women and we're going to go to the Brookings Art Fair, Arts in the Park." And I said, "Well, then we don't have time to talk about it today. I need an appointment with you." And it worked. And I now have a nurse as a new customer, used Tanya for third party validation. She turned around and ordered two energy stacks plus an extra Axio because she wants to try it out on some of her family members plus some other people she knows. She works with adults and juveniles with everything from ADHD to autism to depression, and who knows where it's going to go. But for once, I just stood my ground and said, "I'm not going to tell you about it until you give me the time," and then used the tools Sean put out, and it worked flawlessly. So
Yeah.
just and tonight I had another young lady that was picking up a donation to Focus for they work with a Catholic university students, and she asked me what my license plate meant, and we'll see what happens. So,
Mm,
but really use that tool and listen to how we're supposed to use it. And I, it worked great. So that's all I had to say.
well done, Dean. Yeah, I shouted you out last week, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I want to shout out Kristen for using third party today too. And you guys, what I love the most about what Kristen did today, she texted me to see if I was available, and then I got it, saw it, and I was so grateful. And she connected us on the phone, and Kristen's connection wasn't great, and so the call dropped. But she right away put us together in a text, and I just called the lady back myself. And Kristen didn't have to do anything. And her and I had a conversation. And then she reached back out to Kristen. But she was like, that wasn't how I planned it. And I'm like, it was perfect. It was just so perfect, because and it was a referral. Kristen got a referral. And this is just the other reminder, like, just God's blessing and hand and winks on this business are like, I had a crappy July, I'll be honest. Like it sucked. It was so bad. But I was putting in a lot of work and every morning I have like this new routine, and a lot of it is just time with God. And I'm telling you, today was filled with like the third party, Jen having someone that possibly wants to update to a consultant, like just these moments of God just saying, like, stay the course, and I promise you, right? It's going to pay off. So, yeah. Let's just stay the course, you guys. I cannot wait for this new chapter. I just can't wait to see what comes from it. And I'm so proud of the people that are just still a part of this company and here, and like they just love it with all their heart. And I know we all do too. So, all right. Ah, congratulations, Jen. That's amazing. Oh, so fun.
It was my consultant, Becky, but
Yeah, but
we get her
still,
upgraded. It was her customer. She's great. She's
yeah,
excited.
that's the system, right?
Hmm.
Becky has a full plate and Jen did it on her behalf for her.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's pray, you guys. Heavenly Father, first of all, I want to pray for Dean. And Lord, we just all, I mean, if we could put our hands on him right now, please feel that energy, Dean. And Lord, his plate is full, and I know his heart is heavy. And I thank God for his faith. I thank God that he knows you so well. And Lord, I just pray, well, I know you are. Just carry him through all of this, Lord. And I pray that you humble him as well to be able to ask for help when he needs it. I pray for Liddell and Brent because I'm sure that they are. I just can't imagine what the air is like for them out there, and for Sheila, just in Idaho, just the fires, the smoke, for Debbie. Lord, I just lift them up to you, and I just pray for it all to end sooner rather than later. Just blow their minds, Lord, and just let it rain. Let it rain. And just speaking of rain, Lord, let it rain in Live Vantage. And thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for bringing us Terrence. Help us to be humble servants with the opportunity that you've given us, to not take it for granted, and to put away any, I don't know, just any discrepancies or ego or, um, I don't know, anything that we might be holding that would maybe allow us to not do the things that we need to do to share this with other people. So thank you for Michelle building that group and just always having that drive to help us stay driven and motivated. And thank you for the communities that come from it. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, Debbie, how you doing out there with those fires? Oh, you want to unmute yourself? Turn off your camera.